everyone. My computer has been so slow today. I don't know if you guys are facing the same thing, but goodness gracious. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. April Cox here, Self-Publishing Made Simple. And today is my 8 p.m. Wednesday go live. Ask me anything about self-publishing. I'm here to answer your questions. And I have a very special speaker here with me who's going to share a little bit about his story about self-publishing his book. And his name is John Selzer. For those of you that are here with me, if you've got questions, feel free to go ahead and put them into the chat for me and also for John as we are going through his story. And if you are joining on YouTube, you can also join us live on Zoom if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and post. It's aprilcox.com/events if you are interested in coming on over and participating live. So, John, I'm so happy to see you here with me. Thank you for joining.
It's my pleasure. Good evening, and good evening to everyone with us tonight.
So, tell us a little bit about your journey to writing this book and what really drove you for the story.
It's been a project that's been in my head for a number of years. My wife became terminally ill for a couple of years, 2.5 years, and lost her about a year and a half ago. And I've returned to the project because I think it's a piece of passion that I just can't shake. Somewhere along the way, I explored and discovered something called a duck-billed platypus. I think for a 7-year-old, it's a funny name of an animal, and the fact that they glow and are very unusual mammals that lay eggs. I thought, what better to put that into a children's story picture book? I'm also very passionate about the arts, and one of the things my wife and I have done over the 52 years we were married was we put ourselves in a lot of theater seats and experienced opera and ballet and theater and symphonic music, and it's a part of my central nervous system. I can't shake it. We also know that there's thousands of studies that have said that the arts are good for us. Well, when I started getting all of that, it was weaving together an idea that I had that we should just be doing more arts and promoting more arts and helping kids access more arts in any way possible. And then I came up with this notion about writing a children's book about a duck-billed platypus and make it a series of each of the areas of arts: dance, music, symphonic music, musical theater, and museum art, and try to get a go of it. My brother scared me off of trying to find an agent because he's been writing now for about 7 years, and I think he spent all 7 looking for an agent. I'm getting old. I don't have 7 more years to give up to look for an agent. So along my journey, I came across this incredible lady named April, who just, every time I met with her, my brain exploded. My ideas just flew even faster. And everything she touched in my journey has turned into just a wonderful experience. And I can't say enough about the value of what she has brought to me to make my duck-billed platypus come and really be a living being. I
So,
then sent to form a foundation, but we can talk about that later.
yeah. So I was going to say, tell us a little bit about JoJo and this book that we've just released, and I will go ahead and grab the link and paste it in for those
Wonderful.
of you that would like to check out the book as well.
JoJo, the first piece is on opera. It's called JoJo Finds His Voice. And like every curious little 7-year-old, they just want to do every possible adventure that's put in front of them. And JoJo went to school one day, and Mrs. Pickle Juice, his music teacher, said, "You have a lovely voice. Come sing in our choir." And JoJo decided, okay, I'll sing in the choir. And then Mrs. Picklejuice was so impressed that she suggested that maybe he should really do a solo. Well, JoJo is 7, so JoJo said, "Sure, I'll do a solo," not really knowing what that meant, because that meant you stood in front of the entire school and you had to open your mouth and something had to come out of your mouth other than air. Well, JoJo lost his voice. And JoJo looked, and his parents looked, and this whole school looked, and Mrs. Picklejuice looked. They looked everywhere, and they couldn't find it. JoJo's a voluminous reader. He's a great student, so he went to his happy place in the school, which is the school library. And there on the shelves was a book that said, "How to Find Your Voice." And it talked about stage fright. It talked about just finding your inner strength, your courage, and believing in yourself and taking a breath before you get terrified by whatever you experience. And all of a sudden, JoJo sang, and he sang magnificently, and the crowd roared, and everyone was impressed, and no one asked how it happened. They just were happy about the experience with JoJo. So it was, I think it's a full story arc, which I think is important. I think it tells a cute story. JoJo's incredibly adorable. Thank goodness I was not the illustrator. Kevin Kelly knows that I do stick art and pencils and chicken scratch. And Kevin just is an amazing fellow. I don't know how in the world I came across him, but we collaborated beautifully. We're already working on the next series of books because he just makes JoJo come to life. He's a Caldecott winner in my heart and my soul. I'm nominating him for the work he's done. And there's one piece of the book that every single person who's read it comments on this one particular page and the beauty of the art.
Mm,
And again, there's all sorts of subtle messaging that's going on. We just want to give kids the belief that art is good for them and they should just do it and
mm.
experience it any way they can. That's the
So
story.
now, do you have the book? Are you able to hold it up? Do you have platypuses or anything like that you can show us later? You don't have to show us now, but
I
we
can't
would
show
love
it
to
to you
see it.
this instant, but I can get it on a break away.
Okay, great. So I posted a link to JoJo Finds His Voice. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for a second because I'm here on the Amazon page for you. So this is JoJo the platypus. He is absolutely adorable. And I love the idea. I came across an article and a YouTube interview about the importance of music and what that does to the brain as well, the forming brain and memory and the neural pathways as far as calming down, teaching. There's so much that music can do for us. And I love the idea of this little platypus. The story is incredible. And you can help and support the launch of this book by grabbing the ebook. It is only 99 cents. So if you were to support this and help with reviews, that would be absolutely amazing. Do we have some, let me see, I think we have some A+ content in here that we can show some of the imagery from inside the book. Yeah, here it is. The little platypus has an amazing voice. And look at the style of illustration. So beautiful. I always have to remind people, self-published does not mean poor quality book. This is an absolutely gorgeous book. And the A+ content in the listing also is helping people to see the beautiful quality of the book. And at this point, it's just launched. We have, like I said, it's 99 cents right now still. And we've got 8 reviews so far for John. So let's see what we can do to support that. It also feeds into the promotion that I'm doing right now, where if you support my authors like John, who are publishing their books and just recently released, I have about 20 books that have 99-cent, launches going on right now. And if you do want to learn how to launch your own book, then support these folks. If you just support one of them, you get free access to come in on a deep dive 2-hour class that I'm doing. And I'm going to teach you how, the things that I've learned over the past 7 years in launching and helping over 1,500 authors to get their books launched. So that's for you. And if you purchase multiple books in the list that I'm going to share with you guys, you have the opportunity to earn all kinds of other bonuses, like the tools and templates for launching your book. Some of the other additional things that are included, I can go over later. But for right now, I just wanted to show this gorgeous platypus. I know I'm on a soapbox when it comes to supporting launches and also teaching self-publishing, because self-publishing a book can be such an amazing healing, legacy, and all of those things that we're talking about. And I know that for John, for you, it was all of those things. And also what a difference that and a legacy you're leaving behind with this book. tell me also a little bit about your foundation, because I wanted to also hear more about that.
The foundation is called Today's Seeds. It's the notion, and my moral compass in that regard is the old guy who plants a tree, knowing in his lifetime he'll never get the benefit of the shade or the breeze of those leaves from the tree. What I'm doing is something very consistent with my wife's Native American tradition of 7 generations forward, that what you do today matters 7 generations ahead. So that's my grandchildren's grandchildren. So this is about them. It's too late for me. It's too late for my daughters who are grown women, and almost too late for my grandchildren because they've already been imprinted and inculcated into the arts. But we're trying to do it for a much broader population. So one of the things is the foundation owns the books themselves. This is an entirely not-for-profit. It's a 501(c)(3). We're not looking to make any money on it. We just want to be self-sustaining. And the next 4 books will all be JoJo as the central character in different aspects. The next part of that is I'm weaving a tapestry in my own home community to talk to all of the performing artists in high schools, in dance programs around the community, rock bands, it doesn't matter, choir bands, church choirs,
Mhm.
bring people together and weave them into something in our communities called an arts trail. And then once a year for 10 days along the community, along the downtown central city, I want every corner buzzing with sound and music and actors and dancers and poets and painters and musicians. Because if we just do more art, we're going to be promoting civility. Part of the foundation then moves on to trying to build and facilitate dialogue groups in our community, and then all of it should be exportable to any community in the world. That we need to start talking candidly about hate and divisiveness in our communities. It's the greatest cancer that I can identify that's out there. This is not a political initiative in any way, shape, or form. This is just people to people talking about what drives us apart. So the foundation is all of those things. And I haven't figured out, are the books more important than the pop-up art on corners or the dialogue groups? But this is the project, and this is what is going to be the rest of my initiative in my advanced years. And this happens to be my
Oh,
ambassador. This is the hand version of JoJo. One of the things working with April is I'm saying I really would like a giveaway to give to a kid if I'm in a school or a library and I'm doing an author event. She said, get in touch with this guy. And she gave me the name. And I'm saying, okay. And I discovered that he's in China. And so everything is online. And I'm old enough to be slightly insecure about half of everything. But I wired him the money because he gave me this design. It was a perfect thing. I had seen a prototype and they were inexpensive, like 25%, or no, 75% less than what I was going to be paying if I bought them on Amazon. So again, this was an April find and very, very much worth doing that. Talking about the book and the printing of the book, I struggled with what it was going to cost me if I did it on print on demand or did some of these other printing spaces. And she said, well, why don't you check with this woman I've been working with? And this woman works for a bigger printing company. And she says, well, we're not going to just photocopy stuff. We're going to really create the best quality paper, the best quality artwork that we can find. And I have to tell you that she also blew me away because the cost per unit was a third of what we're going to be paying if we did everything on demand. That was just not a tenable approach. So I just can't say enough about April Cox. She has done such a remarkable job, and she challenges me and she gets in my face. Last week we were consulting, and she said, "Well, just read your next book." She didn't give me any. There wasn't any wiggle room. She said, "Just read it to me." So I read it to her. I was vacillating. Do I send it on to my story editor, that April knows very well, and who did the story editing of April or of JoJo Finds His Voice? And she just tightened everything up. She made the magical part of my words. And I said, I don't, I'm a little cautious. And April just said, do it. Just read. So I read it to her. I haven't talked to her since. She was going to run
Mhm.
it past her granddaughter, and all of a sudden, this weight of concern and my ego is gone because she just pushed me hard enough on that given day. As you can tell, I'm a little passionate about all of this.
Oh, yes.
I sold my business of 35 years. I'm not doing that anymore. Before that, I was a professional actor and a social worker. And so this is it. So I have lots of time to do this and create the marketing plan of being in front of librarians and school superintendents and fine arts teachers and elementary schools and libraries anywhere. And I'm probably driving everybody crazy because I talk about all of this a lot and I talk. And I think that's just part of marketing what you're passionate about and what you're doing. So I encourage every one of you to just look inside of yourself, get rid of all the shackles and the weights and the stuff you put all over yourself, and just do it. Just write.
Yes.
And April is an expert, and she has a series of other experts that are happy to read your stuff.
Mhm.
Avail yourself of that opportunity.
Thank you so much for the inspiration, and I am so happy to be part of your journey. Before we let John go and I get him off of the spotlight here with me, does anybody have any specific questions for John or comments? So inspiring. I will purchase, says Rosalie.
Yeah.
Mm, thank you.
So I have a question, and I don't know if it's for John or just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that you said you were self-conscious or what was the word that you used about apprehensive? Is it
Mm,
good enough? Is it
Mm-hmm.
so I'm at the stage where I'm looking for an illustrator, and I haven't come across one yet. I'm still looking, but I'm not sure who laid it out. Like once you submitted the manuscript, John, who laid out like this is going to be the illustration and this is going to be the narrative. Did you do that up front? Did you lay it out, or did someone else do it for you?
most of that work was done by the illustrator. I had a variety of notes per page, probably too much for most illustrators to want to put up with. But there were some particular things that were important to me. For example, I wanted JoJo's mother to have more melanin in her skin than JoJo's father, and I wanted JoJo to be this blend. It's never addressed, it's never talked about, but it reflects my family because we were a mixed family. And I just wanted this subtle image in the background, never to be brought into the conversation as a part of the illustration that I was going to put my name associated with. And we really, there was some tension initially for about 3 or 4 weeks because what he was sending me about his concept of JoJo was very different from my concept of JoJo. And he had all sorts of images that I'd given him what I thought JoJo should look like. I wanted really cute and cuddly, and he started to kind of geometrically. And then there was a moment, I don't know when it was. I sit alone a lot, and I just came to this moment of saying, "Stupid, you can't do what he's doing. You have no talent in that space. You have to trust him."
Um,
So I had to just let it go, which, I'm an obsessive and compulsive control freak. I've run a business. I've had multiple millions of dollars of income through my businesses, and I had a team that I could just bellow to and they would respond. That's not what an illustrator is in relationship to the text. You have a text, you believe in your text, you've been edited and criticized, and you've made all sorts of adjustments. But then if you feel this person can understand where you want to go and your underlying full core of what you want to experience as the outcome, you have to let them do the art because they know more about that part of it than you do, and they are capable. And that was
Mm.
scary for me like crazy. But
Yeah.
everything, once I got to that point that came in, he was open to say, well, give me some comments, tell me what you think. So we kind of chiseled away at some corners here and there, and bent some things there and there. And he said, "Oh, this is something that should bleed across the pages." I had no idea what that meant. So that also was a reminder. Every time he came up with a concept, it was like, okay, I'm really stupid in this space. I can write and tell a story, but I can't do that piece. And you'll find that person, but it's a process. It really is a process.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
how many illustrators to look at before, well, you were directed by, so you were lucky, you were directed by April, right? But how
Uh,
many portfolios or websites did you take a peek at?
The referral actually wasn't associated to Kevin, was not associated with April.
Oh, okay.
It happened to be we share a hairdresser, um, and, and it was pretty funny because she said, "Oh, you really should meet this guy because I think he might be, what you're looking for." Because I looked at, probably 50 or 60 portfolios online. And I don't know that I was really coming close, but I was kind of honing it down to a half a dozen. And then I sat down with Kevin and we just kind of connected. And younger than I, but I think he had a general sense of my core, kind of a perspective that I have about life and the arts. And he just kind of took it from there. So he did the layout work, he did the coloration.
Yeah, I think you
Uh,
and I found each other after you had already started working with Kevin, or maybe your illustrations were done by then.
Yeah, in that time, there was, a year ago, I was pretty blurry in terms of
Yeah.
time framework and who I was in touch with, and fortunately, Kevin, and very fortunately, April, really kind of held my hand. They didn't know they were kind of guiding me through a really crummy time of my life, but they really were very focused on the book and the project, and amazingly filled with resources, both of them.
Mhm.
Kevin connected me with Syracuse University, where I had interns for the summer. That's opening up another opportunity to a smaller college internship situation, which will bring those folks in and help us do some marketing. If you're near a college or a university, they have marketing students. It may
Yeah.
cost you a couple of bucks, but it's not going to cost you, you're not going to pay somebody 50 or $60,000 a year to come in, but maybe somebody who can help you with the marketing of it, or just writing letters and stuffing envelopes and getting your mailing list up and going. I don't
Mhm.
know social media. I that's so
Mhm.
beyond me. But everybody
Right.
tells me I need something called Instagram and X, and I don't know whatever else. I'll tell you if I get there. But um, but that was just a very unusual time for me, and I just happened to find the right people to work with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. Well, thank you, John, for sharing your story. And again, I've posted the link. So if you want to support John, and I highly recommend grabbing one of those hardcover books because I think the kids are going to absolutely love it, or donate it to a child this Christmas for the Christmas coming season. I think that would be wonderful. But hang out with us, John, because you're more than welcome to stay.
Yep.
I'm going to move on to open some Q&A. I've got some Q&A here in the comments as well. So
Thank you very much for the
thank you,
time.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So Anne says, with the new Amazon guidelines that they're updating bestsellers by the day as opposed to hours and putting more emphasis on paperback sales versus ebook, has this changed the way you do your book launches to try to get bestseller? So far not. I haven't changed anything there. Obviously, you want to focus with, you want to drive sales to your print books as well, but the focus and the way that I typically launch books, I want to do pre-orders. I want to start with the ebooks because number one, it's less competitive. And as I'm looking at all of the books that are launching, they're hitting number one new release. They're hitting bestsellers. They're getting awards. We're, putting things on pre-order. We're focusing on the award part of it and getting editorial reviews and things like that to build some momentum. And then as as the pre-order continues to move forward and people are then it moves to going live, you also have those orders or those pre-orders turning into reviews, because most of the folks that I'm working with are incorporating launch teams and getting the support that they need to publish and post reviews as the books go live. So now you've got reviews that then once your print books actually go live, you have now those reviews get inherited by the print book before it's ever gone live. So let's just say you have my target is typically 100 people on your launch team. And you might say to me, April, my gosh, I don't know 100 people, but you do. Honestly, you do. And if you can get 100 people on your launch team and only half of them follow through and provide you with a review, then that's 50 reviews before your print book ever launches. That is incredible. And we work on additionally adding or creating some ads that then also will drive more traffic, more visibility, and that will then start focusing on the ebook as well as the print book so that we can get you indexed, get that visibility moving forward. So there's a lot that goes into launching. There's a lot of options and opportunities. And that's why that deep dive I'm going to do for those of you that just really want the checklist and all the things and to know, I'm going to give you all my templates. I'm going to give you everything. And the thing I'm going to ask you to do is support the authors that I'm already out there helping to publish. And you get the benefit of all of that. And it's not going to cost you very much because it's 99 cents a book. Even if you buy 20 of them, it's $20. Come on, guys, we can do this. And it also helps really lift and boost those that are out there. So I hope that answers the question. So far, I'm keeping an eye on the changes that have been made. I'm actually really happy that they're only refreshing. Amazon's only refreshing things once a day because I don't want to be there looking at things at 2 a.m. Did I get the bestseller yet? I want to take a screenshot because nobody's going to tell you that it's out there. It's kind of a lot less nerve-wracking to do that. And plus you want to drive more and more. You're not just looking for that one screenshot that you can grab, but it is much better not to have to see so much volatility and changes by the hour. So I kind of appreciate that, but haven't seen anything that would make me think maybe I should do something a little bit different with regard to the launching. Not yet, anyway.
Oh, okay, great, thanks. So but you still are seeing with the daily, you just check in less often then.
Yeah, I mean, we're still monitoring how we do, and of course the authors are still watching, but it's still working well for us.
Great. Okay,
right.
Thank you.
Debbie, you had a question about when should you start working with an illustrator now that your second book you've gone and made all of the changes. So just some clarifying questions. You already went through the editing process, your developmental editing and all of the stuff that you're working on with Joanne Skye, that's finished now. Is that right?
I think we have one more edit.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know which illustrator you might work with, I always recommend reaching out to 3 different illustrators. And I have a huge reference list of illustrators that are my pre-vetted list of people. But whether you're using my list or you're reaching out and getting familiar on different illustrator websites, or a lot of them are on Instagram and sharing their art, or you can ask authors in other Facebook groups, or even in situations like this. For Debbie, I know that you are already working with Ramesh Ram, and your question was, when should I start working with Ramesh and a book designer? So the illustrations, what I would do is once your book is finalized and you've got your editing complete, for a picture book, you want to get it completely finalized. With yours, you're writing a chapter book. So you have some minor tweaks that are going to happen that are probably not going to change your requirements for your illustrator, right? You're going to say, page chapter 1, I'm going to include an image of something like this, right? You'll describe your image. So you're going to put what I call an illustrator brief together. And that's going to describe each one of, by chapter, each image that you're putting together. Once you have that instructions, I would get involved right away, working with your illustrator. Typically, especially, I know you're working with Prayan, and Ramesh Ram is the art director from Prayan. So he'll go through and review what you put together and give you an estimate of the amount of work that needs to be done, and then move right through to your contract. So you won't have to go back and forth. But if you wanted to start with a sample, which might be wise, to have him or his team respond to one of those prompts with a sample, because especially if you can think about what you might want on your front cover, I love starting with that and giving a sample. And if you're doing, if you don't know the illustrator you're going to work with, I would think about, if you have a really strong feeling of what you want on your front cover, make that your sample request and reach out to 3 different people. I know this doesn't apply to you, Debbie, but I want to stretch that out a little bit. I would give that same illustration brief, but this time it's a sample brief, right? That you're going to ask them, and you're going to pay your illustrators to each do 1 copy of the sample for that front cover. And you don't necessarily need to say it's for a front cover. It's just a sample. You want them to respond to the sample. Right now, I'm doing that with probably 5 or 6 authors, all doing samples with different illustrators. And then what they get back is something that they've described in their head, what they thought they wanted. And they get sketches from each one of the illustrators that they've sent things out to. They have the opportunity to go back and forth with the sketches, give some feedback, even if it's perfect, absolutely 100% perfect, just the way it is. Ask for a change. Can you turn the head a little bit? Or can you do some, add something in the background, right? Just give them something to change. Why? Because you want to see how well do they respond to what you've requested. How well do they understand your English? How well do they respond back to you? Does it meet the needs of what you've asked for? Also, how quickly do they respond? Are they, so that all of that stuff is, and about working with an illustrator during the sample can really help you determine whether or not you're going to have a connection. Because once the sketches are done, you're going to move forward to coloring. And then you're going to go through that same process. You're going to make sure that you've given them some feedback into the kind of style of coloring. Is it watercolor? Is it Disney Pixar? Is it 3D kind of look and feel, right? So they need to understand what it is that you're going for. And then you need to be able to vet whatever, give them some feedback on what they've shared. In the end, you may work for a week and a half or so with the illustrators, but then at the end you've got 3 versions of what you asked for, their own take on what you asked for, and you've also had the experience of working back and forth with each one of them. So now you can decide which one you want to work with. You've paid each one for the sample. Typically, I pay $70 for a sample, going back and forth, and so for that couple $100, a little over $200, right? $250 or $300. Now you can decide which person do you want to work with, because they are the most important connection and contact that you're going to have on your picture book. Their artwork is going to make or break your story, because you can have a fantastic story, and if the artwork is not there or it's got some issues, it's going to bring down the quality. You can have an average story and phenomenal artwork that can actually sell your book, right? So obviously we push to have the best of both of those things, but that's the process that I go through with my authors to select the perfect fit for them. And then once you've got your selection and you're ready to move forward, you're providing the selected illustrator. I recommend providing them with the full manuscript with your notes so that they can see exactly what the full scope of work is. They will estimate that for you. And then we move on to the contract. Now I have a contract template that I use for all my authors and illustrators. And every illustrator on my list accepts my contract. And they have to, or they don't get on the list. So that contract says that the author is going to own all the artwork, that this is a work for hire contract. Because, I mean, I appreciate and I love the artwork that they do, but what are they going to do with it after they're done with my book? What are they really going to do with my artwork? It's going to sit there on their drive, right? I want to own my own license to the art. I don't want to wonder if I'm posting it on a social media post or I put it on a t-shirt. Do I owe that artist something? I don't think you should. They may have brought your vision to life, but it was birthed inside of our hearts, and that I always want to own the artwork. So, and I say, pay them well for it, pay them for the license to that, because it did come from their creative mind as well. But the contract is signed, and then we move forward. Then I would typically schedule a Zoom meeting where we walk through every single note, every single step of what you need, give the author time to share their vision and their story and their requirements, and give the illustrator an opportunity to ask questions, get the notes ahead of time so that they can process it and go through that whole process. So in the end, after that meeting, then the next step is that that artist is going to create a storyboard for you. And that's the very rough sketches that you're going to give them feedback on. That then turns to detail sketches. And then that turns into the final colored images that you pull together. So the next amazing person that comes in on the team is your designer, who takes the illustrations that you've just created, plus the words that have been edited and you've worked with an editor on, and they marry those and put them together. And then now that designer is going to be involved during the illustration process to provide feedback and to give you some guidance to the illustrator. That's why my team works so well together, because they've been doing this for a long time. And then the designer is going to take all of that work, put it together, so it's a beautiful, high quality picture book. At the end, they're going to export that. And what comes out of the design process is the files that then get uploaded to KDP. That's Amazon's platform, Ingram, sent to your printer. So that's kind of how the whole process comes together. And if you are working with me already, you know that you've got my referral list, you've got all the people. And when you come and start working with me, like John was saying, I've got a person for that, because I'm a people collector. So whatever comes up, we know we've got people for that. And when I do bring somebody into my circle, I am not only helping the author and negotiating special prices and special things that are going to happen, but I'm also helping to build a business or grow that person's business. So I'm investing in them as well. So I love that. I think that's a wonderful symbiotic relationship. And, my designers in the Philippines that I work with started with just one person, me and Praise Safler. And then now I think there's 6 or 7. And one year we did 200 books together. So, it just grows, and we see different businesses continue to build and grow. Prayan Animation has like 35 artists now, and they're growing, and there are other illustrators I'm also using. So it's an amazing thing. And but Debbie, for you and your specific question, now's the time to go and start collecting the notes, and reach out and get that connection right away. I'm happy to do that on your behalf if you'd like me to get started with Ramesh. You're actually choosing a really good time, because they're offering a special on illustrations right now.
Hey.
It is a slow time, but that's not going to stay that way for very long. So now's a good time to get started with him. All right, so Anne, you said you have a title, subtitle question. Go ahead and ask. I just got to get you off mute.
There we go. I got
There
it
you
off.
go. Go ahead.
Thanks. So, my upcoming book, I had the title, Jeremiah, subtitle, Adventures of an Airedale. And now, if you could help me out here. So, and then I switched it to Jeremiah with the subtitle, Adventures of an Airedale, a most daring and adventurous dog. Now, the subtitle, is the subtitle always on the cover?
It doesn't have to be. No, it doesn't
Now,
have to be.
does it have to be on the title page?
No, I don't like, a lot of times the subtitle is just a way of getting information to Amazon about the
Right.
keywords that are important, and to let people know who are looking up the information about your book on Amazon or Ingram or in the, in the system, to know what it's about, because Annabelle, a magical, or the story of Annabelle could be anything. It could be a romance. It could, who knows? So
Right.
you have to have a really good image in the front, but you also have to have some information. If, is this about an autistic girl that makes friends? Is it about, like, there are certain things that are going to be important and that you want people to, that will guide or be a way for people that are the perfect readers to identify, yeah, this is the book that I want to read. I understand they don't have to read like 3/4 the way down to know important things about the book. But you don't need to put it on the front cover. Sometimes I'll throw it on the back cover, but you don't have to. It's fine. It's more for just Amazon purposes. What my standard way of doing things is to make sure we start with, incorporating what are the key pieces of information that you want to communicate about the story. And then also let's make sure we turn it into a phrase that is also a really great keyword phrase for Amazon searches. So, doing a little bit of keyword analysis goes a long way in helping. That way it can drive some organic sales and help you rank better for important searches that are going to get you right in front of the exact people that need your book.
Now, if we put the subtitle, in Amazon, then you also have to put it with your ISBN and PCN.
If you put, say that again, if you put the title on Amazon, what?
Let me go to the room as the dogs are barking. So, like a most daring and adventurous dog would help with Amazon, to kind of let people know.
It lets people know that it is of a dog. I mean, I assume the dog is
Right.
on the front cover as well, right?
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
do all three have to be the exact same when I do my ISBN title, subtitle?
Yes, it must match. The title
the
and subtitle must match with KDP and with Boker. And
Right.
so otherwise you'll get a strange error that could take weeks to debug if you don't
Okay.
know what it is. Ingram Spark
the
is a little more
PCN as
forgiving.
well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And
So
the PCN as well. So all of it has
everything
to.
should match. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this case, like, would Jeremiah Adventures of an Airedale be the title? And a most daring and adventurous dog be the subtitle? Or would it be like Jeremiah's the title? Adventures of
Yeah,
an
I would probably recommend like taking some time, or even better, if you really want to shortcut this, going to authorpreneur.ai, which is the AI that I created on top of ChatGPT. So you get all of ChatGPT knowledge, AI knowledge, but then above and beyond that, all of what's in my brain about publishing is all built on top of that as well. So you can go to authorpreneur.ai and you can ask this question, and it'll go through and help you brainstorm through all of that, and get you to the point where you have a really good keyword phrase. You have the title and subtitle. I wouldn't necessarily use exactly what you just said, because the adventures of and an adventurous is like too close. It's a waste of a keyword. So I
Okay.
wouldn't do that. Or if you want to set up like a quick one-on-one with me, I'm happy to help walk through that with you.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
yeah.
And now that entrepreneur.ai, can you still get that through your website, or do
Just
you?
it is actually a domain. So you can go to authorpreneur.ai, and I'll put the
Okay.
link. I'll put the link in here, but it's doesn't cost you anything, and it'll ask you to log in. And if you don't have a ChatGPT login, then just create a new one, and it's going to be the same. So authorpreneur.ai. I'll just put the link there. But yeah, that's all. And I think it will come up. Not only does it do a fabulous job of helping you brainstorm on titles and subtitles, but it's one of the best tools there is, and if I do say so myself, for when it comes to keywords, coming up with keywords. And if you are tech challenged and you're not likely to get in front of the KDSpy or do Publisher Rocket because it's too difficult and too much work to do, then check out what the keywords and the different things that Authorpreneur AI comes up with for you, because it is just amazing. I've been blown away with how much time it saves me. It used to take me 2 hours to do the analytics for a title, a subtitle, keywords, and categories. And now with this Authorpreneur AI tool, I'm down to like maybe 15 minutes.
So how would it, like in this particular case, I would say this is my title and subtitle, and just say what would you recommend? Is that how I would go about it, or?
I would describe the issue that you're having or that you're trying to figure out. Give it also answer the questions, because it will ask you questions. If you have a sample description, then post it there. That'll be helpful, like so it can see a description or a blurb or something that you've got.
Okay.
But I trained it to ask questions and get the full understanding of what it needs to do before it starts taking action. So it's going to ask you about, who's your target audience, and tell me more about the storyline. And then it's going to recommend the keywords and answer you. And you can have a dialogue for, 20 minutes and have all of this stuff worked through. It's crazy.
Wow. Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you.
So I have a question on YouTube here. I wish you would talk about when to embed cover in manuscript file and when not to, like uploading to KDP. So in other words, when you need to have the cover within your interior file. I think that's what you're saying, but please do post another follow-up here if that's not the case. I would typically, the interior file does not have the front and back cover included in it. It's just, it takes you, typically starts with the title page. It's got your copyright, all of the interior. And then that interior file is separate, and it's got separate design expectations of the layout versus what the cover would look like. The cover is separate from the interior file when you're uploading to KDP and Ingram Spark. When do I put them together? I do put the front cover and the back cover in there, and I shrink it to like a low res PDF to send it to reviewers or upload it to, for people that I want to get an editorial review out of, or I want to provide like to a beta reader. I might do that, just have one file instead of separate files. But that's more for marketing purposes than it is for actually uploading to Amazon. So I hope that was helpful. I have a good 10 minutes left, guys. So anybody have any other questions that I haven't answered yet?
When should you start using beta readers?
Beta readers are really helpful when you're starting to work through and trying to finalize your story. I usually do the beta reader kind of thing before I work with my editor, just as like a preliminary, just some preliminary feedback from them. Am I going in the right direction? Does this story sound interesting to you? And then once I start working with my editor and I'm refining things and getting it, like right now, Debbie, you're almost at the point where you're ready to do one final pass with your editor. I would be like, yeah, let me also incorporate at this stage where it's stable, incorporate some beta readers as well. And then some of the feedback you get from them can also be incorporated and passed over to your developmental editor as well, or your line and copy editor. So that in the end, because you're doing, how long is your book, Debbie? How many words? You're on mute, by the way. I'm going to get you off mute.
I think it's about 10,000.
10,000 words. So it's more important. It's not like a quick and easy picture book read. So you definitely want to build up that list of beta readers or launch team members, however you want to include it. And as you build and you connect with more and more people that are loving your books, you're going to have more people signing up and saying, yes, I want to be a beta reader. So I would be growing that email list of yours and using that to invite people to become part of your beta team. Give them some direction on what kinds of information are you looking for. When I did my beta team, I had like a survey at the end of it. Like, what do you think about this? Was this character relatable to you? Some of the things that I really wanted answers, because sometimes the beta people will give you a bunch of feedback, but it wasn't the kind of feedback you were looking for. Sometimes it's good. It opens your eyes to other things. But you can always, at the end of what you're asking about, say, is there anything else you'd like to let me know about, or any other feedback that you have? But if there's certain things you absolutely need to know and need to verify, then just make sure you have that little questionnaire for them.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. I can't wait to read the next one. I love it. By the way, just finishing up, my husband's just finishing up with the coloring book for you. So you should see those things soon.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo. And if you are somebody that has a need for a coloring book, my hubby has decided he's going to start working with me in the business, and he's doing some things like coloring books. So it's $50 for a full coloring book of your picture book. So just send it over, let me know, and I'll pass the information to him. He'll invoice you for the $50 and you'll get the full interior images. You get to decide whether or not you want to keep the words in or remove the words, and then he'll get everything sent back to you. So it makes it really saves a lot of money versus some of the other stuff. All right. Rosalie says, as soon as I'm published, you got it.
Can I also add Teachers for Teachers, which is a curriculum
Yes.
guide that you've gotten me excited by, and I'm using, and it's a great door opener when you're walking into a school to say, you can use my book, but more importantly, this is how you can use it and bring it to life to talk about science and geography and language, and it's just a great resource, and very, very worth the investment.
Yes, because, and you used Kristen from the Bright Cookie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So she is fabulous. If you go to thebrightcookie.com, Kristen is a magician when it comes to creating this stuff. The other thing too, John, for your sake, is, I've already talked about STEAM STEM books, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah.
But now there's a lot of talk about STEAM, and the A is for arts. So make sure that you use that in your marketing, that your book is, it fulfills some STEAM requirements. It talks about the arts, and then you've got a lot of opportunity within the not just teachers, but also homeschoolers that need to fulfill some of those requirements as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Common Core compliant in New York. That's important. And just as you may be aware, Syracuse is opening a brand new STEAM high school this week. It's a
Wow.
city county collaborative effort. The design must take 60% of the population from the city, 40% from the outlying suburban school district. So it's a very innovative, creative model that I'm just excited by and meeting with their leadership a lot.
That's awesome. I'm still waiting to hear that you're gonna JoJo's gonna be on the stage, being performed by kids. Community theater.
Community theater. Let me think. Where did that idea come from, April? Um, for someone who worked in the theater and I wrote this stuff about the arts, you posed that question to me kind of out of the blue one afternoon, and I'm saying, "Oh my God, how could I have ever missed that?" But why not give that over to the teachers to write the short play for a third grade classroom?
Yeah.
So that's my new passion upon other passions, but that's also because just the collaborative work that you and I've done
Well,
together. I appreciate
that's
it.
me being a mama of a theater geek her whole life, and she did so much in school. And they would grab these kind of things, and she went to a performing arts high school, so they had students that would write the play or would take the idea, write it, and then they'd have others that would direct it, and then they had arts students that would draw and paint the backdrop, and then of course they would interview and bring the actors in. It was a lot of fun, and I think that they would love to incorporate JoJo into that.
If there is any national children's television workshop left in a few years, maybe I'll have your daughter involved with the project of getting JoJo take over Sesame Street.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. Hey, they're very inclusive on Sesame Street, so I think JoJo would be very welcome.
I think so.
I have a couple more questions here I'll take from the YouTube audience. So Crystal Crew, so do you have any review websites to recommend, like Puppy, that does not go against KDP guidelines? There's a few of them that popped up with regard to that are similar to Puppy. And off the top of my head, I don't have, I can't think of them, but they're very similar to Puppy, and I could probably throw that into my AI or any other AI, and it can help us with that. But if you are doing a children's book, one that I really love is Goodnight Reads. It's Goodnight Reads, not Goodreads, goodnightreads.com. And they have a program that it's only for children's book authors. So instead of having to read or review books that are way too long, if you're a children's book author and you've got 32 pages of a book, you're reviewing other children's books that are similar in length, and then for every review you're able to qualify for a review of your own. But there are some other really great ones as well for those that have, and I think that it feels like every week a new one crops up. So I would just say be very careful and make sure that they are indeed not violating any of the rules from Amazon as well. One influencer says always have cover embedded for ebooks. She formatted in Atticus with cover and uploaded that to KDP. Yes, you know what? Thank you for mentioning that. For ebooks, you do want to put your cover in there. Although the cover and the title page, so typically the title page is very similar to the cover, unless it's completely different. Then maybe you want to put a copy of your front cover there as well. It doesn't matter to me whether that is there or not, because if I'm clicking on an ebook, I already see the cover. I'm clicking to read the interior. So it's fine if it's there. It's no big deal if it's not. It sounds to me like one of the influencers that you worked with was really insistent that it had the front cover. Yeah, I don't see a difference, but if that's an expectation within your genre, especially, then I would say, yeah, go ahead and do that. And you know, you can also put the back cover on the end of an ebook as well. All right. Forgot to mention published drive needed cover embedded. That's for ebook as well, I believe, right? Let's see. Those are yeah, ebooks are different than the separate. When I said separate cover and back cover versus the interior, it had to do with print books. So my apologies. I should have also thought about the ebook side of it. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, guys. Well, we had a great, lots of questions, lots of great things. Thank you so much, John, for joining me and for being part of this. I am going to post links and send out links for everybody so that if you are interested in participating and becoming part of helping the authors launch, and you want to purchase, actually, I'm going to post it right now. I'm going to post for here for the chat, and I'm going to post a list. This is a Google Drive link that I have posted that will, for those of you that want to support authors, you'll be able to go ahead and grab some books and then come and learn how to, you know, my approach. It's not right or wrong. There's lots of different ways of publishing books, but I can share with you what I've learned over the past 7 years. The actual event to go through that whole process is the last Wednesday of the month. I think it's the 28th of the month. So, and that you cannot go on and purchase a ticket. You must just support an author and then send an email to support at the little labradoodle. Oh, sorry, it's support@selfpubmadesimple.com. Once we have the idea, or you send me an email and let me know that you've helped or you've done some kind of purchases, then we'll get you added to the event. It's going to be really good, and it's going to be a nice big deep dive, like a workshop, rather than just a quick little seminar. So I look forward to having you guys participate. Oh, I see your hand up, Pat. Go ahead. You got a question or a comment?
Is Kelly Lima still on for tonight?
I thought she was, but I don't see her here yet. I'm going to reach out to her and see if she is coming in today. Let me just do that, and I'll hang out and answer questions for those that want to go a little deeper until Kelly shows up. And if she doesn't show up, then you'll just have to be stuck with me. I just don't have as much knowledge as she has when it comes to Canva and design work, but we can still have some fun together.
Thank you all very much for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
And for those of you that want to hang out, with the next hour is going to be for mastermind members who are part of the group. So we're going to go deeper into some of the mastermind stuff. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Hold on one second while I go through. Are you hanging out, Janet? Or are you heading back off? You saying, I saw you waving. So I
I'm
wasn't
here.
sure.
I was waving to the YouTube people, but I was a little late.
No worries. No worries. I think I stopped the live stream. Okay, stopping now. So goodbye to my YouTube friends. I do hope that this has been helpful. And if it has, please double check whether or not you have been, whether you have subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you have not, go and subscribe. It's YouTube/self-publishing made simple. For those of you that are here with me on Zoom, we are really close, like 30 people away from hitting 10,000 followers on YouTube. So I would love your support. Share it. And then come back again next week and ask some more questions. I look forward to catching